Now do it.
The Brer Rabbit story. I'm going to tell you a story about Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox. But first, you ought to know a thing or two about rabbits and foxes. Rabbits and foxes just never seem to get along. This is probably because foxes are always trying to make a meal out of rabbits, and rabbits are always trying to outfox foxes. Brer Rabbit was the craftiest rabbit ever to cross the fox's path. Brer Fox was always trying to catch Brer Rabbit, but Brer Rabbit always had a trick up his sleeve. One day, Brer Fox decided to get Brer Rabbit once and for all. Brer Fox knew that Brer Rabbit liked to go over to the farmer's garden every day for the carrots and cabbage. Brer Fox decided to hide behind the big tree on the road and go up to the garden and wait for Brer Rabbit to pass. The tree was on the edge of the briar patch, full of bushes with thorns and briars. I'm gonna wait right here for that sneaky rabbit and cook him up and rabbit stew, said Brer Fox, proud of his sneaky plan. Soon Brer Rabbit came hippity-hoppity down the road to the garden. Brer Fox jumped out from behind the tree and grabbed him up quick as he could. I am gonna brew a stew out of you, Rabbit, said Brer Fox. Brer Rabbit had to do some fast talking. You can cook me up in that big old pot and serve me up for dinner, but please don't throw me into the briar patch yonder, said Brer Rabbit. Brer Fox thought for a moment. Now, maybe that stew would be too much bother for me. I'm gonna roast you up instead. You can fire up your old stove and roast me and serve me up with fried taters, but please don't throw me in that briar patch, shouted Brer Rabbit. This was starting to sound a lot like work to Brer Fox. He really just wanted to get that rabbit out of his hair once and for all. No, your scrawny hide ain't worth troubling over. You're just gonna string you up to that old hickory tree and get you out of my hair, said Brer Fox. String me up and let me swing, but what do you do? Please don't throw me in that terrible briar patch, said Brer Rabbit. Suddenly Brer Fox knew just the thing to do. Seems to me just about the worst thing I can do is throw you in that old briar patch, Rabbit, said Brer Fox. And that's just what I'm going to do. And with that, Brer Fox swung Brer Rabbit over his head and threw him into the middle of the briar patch. Yow, I'm going to die, yowled Brer Rabbit as he sailed through the air. But as soon as he landed in the briar patch, all Brer Fox could hear was Brer Rabbit hee-hawing and gawping and giggling. Brer Fox knew he had been had again. Oh, Mr. Fox, you should have known better. You see, I was born in this here briar patch. I'm happy as a crawfish in the riverbed. Brer Fox was hopping mad. I got to get that rabbit good once and for all. He's gonna miss Goose's birthday party tomorrow, so I'm gonna make real friendly like and go for a walk over that party with him. And when we get there crossing the river, I'm gonna throw that rabbit in. He'll be gone for good, sure as shooting. The next day, Brer Rabbit was at his house getting all spruced up for Miss Goose's party. When he saw Brer Fox come trotting up his path, he wrapped himself up in a blanket and acted real sick-like. What's all this moaning about, Rabbit? Asked Brer Fox. Oh, I'm sick of the old dog, Mr. Fox. I ain't gonna make it to Miss Goose's party after all, sighed Brer Rabbit. This is gonna help with my plan just fine, thought Brer Fox. He said to Brer Rabbit, now you know you're gonna be sorry if you missed that party, Rabbit. I'm gonna carry you. You mighty kind, Mr. Fox, but surely I couldn't ride on your back without a saddle. And Brer Fox went off to find a saddle. While he was gone, Brer Fox picked up some flowers from Miss Goose and hid them under his blanket. Brer Fox came back wearing a saddle. Up you go, he said. You're mighty kind, Mr. Fox, but surely I couldn't ride along this saddle without having a bridle to steer you along, said Brer Rabbit. While Brer Fox went to fetch the bridle, Brer Rabbit rummaged around in his closet and found a brown paper bag. I'm going to give this fox a surprise he'll never forget. He thinks he can outfox me, but I'm the foxiest rabbit this side of the Mississippi, Brer Rabbit said with chuckleness. When Brer Fox returned, he was wearing a bridle as well as a saddle.
He was all ready to go, just like an old horse at the starting gate. "Rabbit," he said, "Miss Goose ain't a going to take it kindly if we're late for her party. You climb up on up here now, and let's get a going." He chuckled to himself, thinking soon he would be rid of that rabbit forever. "You're terrible kind to an old sick rabbit like me, Mr. Fox," said Brer Rabbit. With a groan, he climbed into the saddle, and they were on their way. Soon they came to a river, and Brer Fox stepped onto the bridge. He thought, "I'm a-going to throw this boogery rabbit off into the kingdom come. Yep, this just the spot." But Brer Rabbit was ready for Brer Fox's sneaky trick. As soon as he felt Brer Fox stop over the middle of the river, he filled the brown paper bag was there. He said, "What you stopping for, Mr. Fox? I'm a-going to throw you into kingdom come, Rabbit." "Oh, no, you're not. Giddy up," shouted Brer Rabbit, and with that he popped the bag right over Brer Fox's ear. "Yo!" shrieked Brer Fox. He thought a hunter had taken a clean shot at him. He jumped up in the air like a mad grasshopper and took off down to the other side of the bridge. Brer Fox galloped towards Miss Goose's house, but Brer Rabbit hanging on the saddle and yodeling all the way. "Giddy up, you old nag!" cried Brer Rabbit. Poor Brer Fox kept galloping along past the briar patch, past the farmer's garden, past the duck's pond, and right up to Miss